I think I'm back. We're going to give this a try. Sorry, I was frustrated. It's probably not even the issues with our current Wi-Fi that has me so frustrated. It has my heart hurting for all of those in Ukraine and those doing so much, not even for the animals, but for each other and what they're going through. I've never met and even heard about more resilient group of people. So I definitely got frustrated when my internet wasn't working so that I could bring more news to you, but I had to put myself in check. I mean, our internet not working is frustrating, and it's frustrating that we pay a lot to bring you the sanctuary, but my God, is it the teeniest little thing to complain about when what's going on in the world. So I apologize, but I think the frustrations come from, I was up at 4:40 starting today with it, and just also some news recently received. There's some more power outages and more things that happened in Ukraine today, and I'm not even from Ukraine, but going through this process and knowing that there are people over there and what they're going through and how resilient they are makes it even harder for me to hear the news than it did before about the war in Ukraine. So I first, before I kind of update you, just need to thank the entirety of the people that we've connected with, that have helped the animals, that are helping each other, that are doing that under the worst circumstances possible. And of course, people's lives are more important than animals. But what I can tell you is that these people that are dedicated to the animals on the ground are just as dedicated to the people and each other. And so it's not a animal or human. It is actually really about humanity, whether it be any living being deserves a chance to be saved. And I just wish we could do more. I wish we could do more. So the announcement of us offering to take in 4 lion cubs is a teeny thing we're doing. But we're so grateful to be doing it, and there's a lot of roads ahead. This is not a quick and easy journey, but I did want to answer some questions that have been coming up, and knowing we'll share more with you when we can. In light of taking in and working on this international case, we're still giving that individualized attention to every cat here. We have vet day today even. We won't be going live, but their wellness exams and things like that. But it's been a roller coaster, and as you guys know, we've brought in lions from Argentina. We've brought in cats from Canada. So this isn't our first time doing translocation, and we're well aware of all the steps and all the hurdles and all the setbacks that can happen. But having it during a war is a very different scenario and much more challenging. So there's so many partners involved. IFAW, you guys know, is one of them, International Fund for Animal Welfare. We've had everybody from the vet crew who raised the first 3 lion cubs. So there's been some confusion about who's with who in the cubs. Well, 3 very small lions, probably a few weeks old, were dropped off at a rescue in Odessa called Vet Crew. And from the information we have in the permits is that they were destined for the pet market. They were actually bred and sold most likely at a private zoo, kind of like our Tiger King zoos cats here, and were destined to be sold and profited from. And luckily, the person, or smuggler as they like to call it, turned them in. And I think a lot of it was the obstacles of trying to sell and transport cubs during a war. So we're so thankful for the vet crew who did bottle feeding, took them around the clock care, and then actually drove them over up to Kiev, where Wild Animal USA is, and a wonderful person there that's doing a lot of rescue work for bears, full-grown big cats, cubs, and they had a leopard cub and a lion cub surrendered to them. And so we know that growing up, the lion and leopard can't stay together. So that 4th cub is going to be merged into the pride with the 3 cubs once they're closer in age and closer in size. The leopard cub is going to a facility through IFA in Europe, from my understanding, and we support it 100%. It's easier to get cats to Europe and other countries. The problem is they are full. They have already been inundated with animals from Ukraine, not only from the zoos, but from the illegal trade, from the pet market, from wildlife, things like that. And so they can't accommodate everything from Poland. But this little leopard cub, they did find a facility that has another young leopard, and hopefully they'll be able to be merged one day. And that was the best thing to do for the leopard cub, and that's we support that decision 100%. So the other question is, are other sanctuaries getting involved? Well, as you guys know, the Wild Animal Sanctuary in Colorado accepted big full-grown lions plus some adolescent cubs already, and it's all kind of how things line up. What's going on with the war, if there's power, if they can get across border crossings, if permits can be secured, which seems easy, but when a government's going through war and trying to save its people and its land, doing permits for animals isn't the first thing that we want them to think of. And so all of this takes time, and all of this takes coordination from so many groups, including the U.S. government and the Poland government. And so that's, IFA is definitely assisting with that. So we're really thankful that the Wild Animal Sanctuary in Colorado was able to help too. We've offered to take full-grown cats as well. It was just, this was easier right now to get done, easier to do right now than anything else. To get the big cats coordinated, and some of them I know are going to Europe too, and so we're all kind of working together. Other sanctuaries might get involved in the future. It's day by day in processes like this. It is really day by day, sometimes hour by hour. But we do know that there's accredited sanctuaries across the country that would be willing to help in a moment's notice. It's just, there's a lot of time and a lot of cost involved to do it, and so we said yes, we've done it before, we're happy to jump in. We already have those networks and done through the permitting process and many other cases. So other questions is, do the cubs have names? I think they do. We are waiting to hear. If they don't have names, then obviously there'll be ways to name them, especially if, I don't know if it's staff or the public or things like that. So we'll roll that out as we can. This news just kind of hit the ground running as well. I was trying to think of other questions that arise. We do have space here at the sanctuary. We especially have lion space in our Pride Prairie area. And so there are modifications going on here to accept that pride, move some of our geriatrics to spaces that they aren't using, and things like that. But again, it's not going to happen overnight. So people say, when will the cubs get there? That's undetermined at this point. We're hoping within a couple months, but it's all about the war going on, the permits that IFA and us are working on to secure and apply for. We've definitely started the process, and all that's been started. It just takes time to work through the system. But I just want to thank everybody for being there for the announcement. It's been about 2 months in the works before we could say anything, but we really, all parties wanted them to get to Poland to know they were safe, at least out of the war, because anything could have happened before then, and safe across the border before we made the announcement. So we're just really still one leg of the journey to keep. People are asking if there's male or females. From the information we've been told right now, there's 3 females and 1 male, so they'll make a pride and get to grow up together. They're in great care now. There is a veterinarian caring for them. IFA did fly over there in Poland and meet them. So we've got really qualified people, excuse me, on the ground working with them. Are we going to go over? That's all dependent upon what support they need from us. We are willing, our vets are willing to go there. We do not want to cause any more confusion or put any more people in the mix if they don't need that. So we're waiting for what support is needed over there at any given time, and we are willing to do that as well. So I know people are asking, can they sponsor things like that? Excuse me. Right now, we can always love general support. So for modifying habitats, for getting ready for them, once they're here, we're going to have 20 years of lifetime care for big cats. IFA is generously covering the cost of transport. Once the permits get issued and once we can follow through on those permits and make sure everything's in place. So they've offered that donation. So, but 20 years is a long time, especially when we've just added Nova and we have other witness protection cats, things like that. But it's definitely a commitment we're willing to make. So support is always appreciated, but right now we're not doing sponsorships for individual lion cubs or anything like that, because again, anything can happen, and we're here to support, and we're here along the way to make the best decisions for those cats and the people caring for them. So we would always accept general donations to help in cases like this and be able to say yes, and knowing there's spays and neuters and things, but we're not taking money specifically for these cubs right at this point because they're not here yet. But if you want to give to us knowing we're helping to prepare for them and we're getting all the supplies and everything needed, that is so generous. And obviously, as you guys know, keeping our rescue funds full is really important, as well as the daily operating of the sanctuary and everything. I'm a little kind of I'm tired. I was up at 4:40 today. We have some media coming out today, but my days have started much earlier than they did. And again, I have no right to complain because I am doing this from my house, my office. I am not on the front lines like the amazing people there doing the hard work. And as they do the hard work, they might be losing communities, family members. They're giving up fleeing from the war to help those on the ground, whether they be four-legged animals, birds, other humans. So really this is a thank you to them and letting them know we are going to support them in any way they see fit through not only these 4 cubs, but for whatever they need and however we can best help them all. So thank you guys for being there for the announcement. I don't know kind of what live posts we'll be doing today, if any more, just because it is crazy busy here with some vet exams going on, as well as media coming, as well as the logistics of continuing to answer and talk to everybody that's in the process for this relocation, translocation. And we still have a lot of steps ahead of us to make sure we get approved and secure and everything's done the correct and legal way to make sure that we set the stage for continued rescues out of Ukraine and Poland as long as they need it. So thank you guys for being a part of what we do. We appreciate it. And I will, though, make sure I get up a Growing Up Nova post, because even though we have new cats overseas that need us, the cats in our care are still always a priority, and it definitely makes me smile to see that little one grow up happy and healthy and safe here at Sanctuary. So we're hoping the lions will be Sanctuary safe in the near future too. So thank you all, and I appreciate your support, ongoing support.